welcome back to the opposite of We Are the Teri and the Squarey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck, I fucked it up again.
The Teri and the Squarey. I just rolling with it too. Oh my gosh.
We are Teri and Royson. And by the way, we're married, if we haven't said that. More lore about us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, now that I've butchered that opening, today's theme is travel. So we're going to be reading some travel-related stories for you guys. Since I know a lot of people are traveling this time of year, this is a very busy time. So let's go ahead and read this first one. This story is called, Am I the A-hole for rescinding a travel offer to my stepdaughter and her family and inviting my son and his family instead? Which already sounds
no
like
context, yes.
That sounds so messed up.
I feel like if there's a reason for it, we'll see.
Yeah. My parents were missionaries in Africa when I, 64 male. Oh, wow, this guy's like 64 on Reddit? Dang, congrats. All right.
Get off. Okay.
When I was growing up. They've long since passed, but I still keep in touch with friends that still live there and have made a few trips there to visit. One of these family friends has operated a safari company for decades. Whenever I visit, I usually stay with them for a week or so. It's been almost 8 years since my last visit, and I want to go back. My ex-wife and I divorced about 15 years ago. Our son is now 35 and has a wife and twin girls that are 13 years old. I remarried 6 years ago, and my current wife has a daughter. Her name is Pam, and she's 38. From a previous relationship, who also has her own family. When I told my wife about wanting to plan another trip to Africa, she was very excited. I contacted my family friend, and he offered me a great deal to stay at their safari camp, but only for a specific 2-week window. I told my wife about the deal my friend offered, and she asked if it would be possible to invite her daughter and her family with them on the trip. I was hesitant because Pam and I have never really seen eye to eye, but I figured this might be the type of trip that would bring us closer through a unique shared experience. When we first approached Pam about the idea, she was totally on board, but things went south pretty quick. First, the window for the trip wouldn't work for them because Pam's daughter has a softball tournament at that time that she can't miss. They did, however, offer to help cover the higher cost so that daughter could still make the tournament. Next, however, came the deal breaker. Pam had asked how I knew my friends there, and I explained that my parents were missionaries long ago. A few days later, she came to visit with her daughters and told me that they are uncomfortable staying with colonizers and asked if we can change the trip completely. I straight up told them no and told them they are no longer welcome to join us on this trip. It turned into an argument, and I had to ask them to leave. My wife was in tears by the end of it. Not wanting to miss out on the deal my friend was offering, I instead extended the invitation to my son and his family. He jumped at the opportunity without asking questions. Then, when I told him about the time window where we were staying, he said he didn't care and they would make it work, no hassle. I told my wife that my son and his family would be joining us on the trip instead, and she got mad at me. She told me that I should have at least tried to talk with Pam about it again to see if we would make it work before inviting my son. I told her that I'm not going to bring Pam and her family after they insulted my parents and have been making everything more difficult from day one. I told her my son and his family aren't making this nearly as difficult as Pam has been, and they also didn't call my parents colonizers. My wife thinks I should give Pam another chance, but it's too late for that.
Dang. I'm going to first point out, it's the thing that it distracted me at the beginning. You said that he's 64, his son's 35. And he married someone who's 38?
No. The 38-year-old is Pam, the daughter. He didn't say how old his wife is.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That makes so much more sense. Okay. Anyway. But yeah, no, this still, I mean, yeah, it's one of those, even if she's right, still, that's what's going to happen. If you're going to call someone a colonizer, then yeah, you're going to lose your spot. Why? You can't be that mad about it.
Yeah, and honestly, it doesn't even seem like Pam was that mad to not go anymore.
Oh,
it wasn't going to work for them.
Yeah.
They were like, well, we would love to go, but... And then they realized that they were uncomfortable with the situation.
Well, they were still
and
asking
no longer
for...
really... It didn't really seem like they still cared. They called... What did she say? She said they're uncomfortable staying with colonizers and asked if we can change the trip completely. So it seems like they're just... I don't know. I'm imagining that she asked... Like, oh, could we just do this? Instead, it was like, well, no, that's not the trip. That's a whole different trip.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go on this trip with somebody else.
Yeah.
That's so reasonable.
Yeah.
But to me, it feels like the wife really just wanted a trip with her daughter.
Maybe.
And she's trying to blame him
for... If he, like, was just like, no, get out, right? Because at that point, didn't he just say no and ask them to
No,
leave?
I mean... He told them no, that he wouldn't change the trip. Oh, and then he also said they're no longer welcome to join us on this trip.
Yeah.
So even if they had rescinded and changed their minds again, he would have said, no, thank you. I changed my mind. Let's not do this trip. But to be fair, you can't shit on the person asking or not asking, like offering something to you and expect it to still be offered.
Yeah. That seems dumb.
You know, I just feel like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like there comes questions of if they really said colonizer specifically or not, but still, like, doesn't, like, you're not being an asshole if, like, I'm offering you something, you said something, like, messed up about people I respect, which was his parents, like, that he cared about, and it's not like he shares that opinion of the colonizer thing, so he's going to be annoyed by it. So it's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That's all he's 64. You know, what'd you expect? Come on.
So the verdict is not the asshole on this one. And one of the comments that has like 4,000 upvotes says, not the asshole. If she wanted to go on a different place on a different date, then really it's not the same trip. So you haven't uninvited her from anything. You've simply declined to go on a different ship. I hope you have a great time out there. P.S. I recognize that there is a complicated history with white landowners in Africa for which there is no easy solution. I don't really think that really comes into this discussion, though. I agree. That's not relevant.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
At least enough. Like,
I mean, unless there's context that we're missing.
And even still, his idea was still to go live at the colonizer spot.
Yeah.
That was what he was going to do. That's the offer that he has. So what is it's like, no, cancel that offer. And actually, could you just like, let's just do an entirely new thing that you have to pay for, most likely. Or like he would at least pay more than it is that he's going to the people that he's known for years and years and years.
Is something they need to discuss, like future, you know?
Yeah, if they do want to go into a care about the history of it, that's a whole separate conversation. Yeah, which they're probably not going to do. Once again, this guy's 64. There's no talking about it anymore. Yeah. However this guy thinks about it, that's how it is.
Yeah. So someone says that the daughter is a prima donna, high maintenance, insulting pain in the ass, stick to your guns, OP, and take your son. Jeez. Then someone underneath that said, there's always that second wife who's cramming her family down his throat. Why is her daughter more eligible than his own son? Does he lose a say by marrying her?
Yeah.
And Pam, F off with empty virtue signaling. Go and volunteer or send supplies or foster a kid in her own equally disadvantaged minorities community. Yeah, that's so fair. It's like...
Yeah, you want to point out the issue, but... I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, it's still... At least the last part. Like, everything else is still kind of, like, real. I guess it's, like, the idea of, like, you're not allowed to point out something if you're not specifically doing something about it. Isn't exactly, like, the take I can always agree with, but it's still for the relevant point of this of, like...
Yeah. And someone... some couple people are pointing out that it doesn't really... There's no context for, like, what the missionaries did.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily colonizers exactly. So someone said, it's not really clear from OP that this has anything to do with white landowners, though. A high school classmate of mine's grandparents were missionaries in East Africa, but missionary work in this case meant running a school for the deaf and blind. Mm-hmm. Another university friend of mine grew up in a West African country because his parents were missionaries there. One parent was a linguist translating the Bible into local language, and another ran a clinic as a doctor. Next under that says, you're right, mission work can vary greatly. Sometimes it's completely useless to the residents. Preaching Christian doctrine and putting up flimsy buildings isn't exactly helpful, but other times it provides better access to medical care and education. They might be bringing supplies and helping to distribute them or working with other volunteer services in the area. Since we don't know OP's grandparents operated as missionaries, we don't know how correct his stepdaughter is in her judgment. Either way, she approached things in a very rude manner. Yeah.
Because also the like if the person who posted this views the missionary work as like actually helpful, and then someone goes up to him and is like, oh, actually it's like some BS that just ruined the economy there or ruined people's lives there. That's really insulting. So yeah, no matter what, it was a very poor move. I don't know. Seems obvious.
Yep. And there's a lot of people are getting into a lot of this extra stuff in the comments, which we don't need to get into because
I think
that's
the reality
a
is just
whole topic.
The reality is just you have to be grateful for the person who's offering you something.
Yeah,
like
and
don't be rude to
mad.
them.
It's you know what it's like? It's like the bean soup stuff on TikTok. Have you heard that?
We never have the same TikTok. Okay, what is it? What is
okay,
this?
no, this is just a TikTok thing.
Okay.
YouTube might no, it's mostly TikTok. Okay. The bean soup thing originated because I know a lot of people, you don't know this too. Basically on TikTok, you are just presented with videos that the algorithm thinks you're gonna like, and if you scroll fast without watching, then it's like, oh well, they don't like that, they're not staying engaged. And if you stay watching it, it's like, oh, they like this stuff. Even if you hate watching it because something horrible happened, you watched it for 30 seconds, so you must like it way more than that video that you watched for 2 seconds. So you get the point. So sometimes maybe like somebody likes cooking videos. Well, there was this one woman who was making a bean soup recipe, and people like to do that on TikTok all the time. They'll share recipes, they'll make food, they'll be like, look how good this is, here's my recipe for making bean soup. So she made this bean soup, and people in the comments, they'll be like, oh well, like this recipe for bean soup, can I make it without beans? Can you show me how to make it without beans? I don't like the beans. People literally comment, I don't like beans.
Yeah.
Then scroll away.
Yeah.
Don't watch the video and ask me to take out the beans in my bean soup recipe. And the reason that caught on as like a big thing is because it was very validating for a lot of people, because a lot of people on TikTok do not understand that the thing they're looking at doesn't have to be for them.
Yeah.
It is just presented by a random algorithm that doesn't get things right all the time, and it's just guessing. It doesn't know you like beans or not. And
by the way, you commenting on there, even if you're commenting saying I don't like beans, means you're gonna get more bean soup recipes now.
Or things like that. Yeah. Because if you comment on it, then
now
you're engaged with it.
Yeah.
And the algorithm thinks, oh, well, this is working. It's keeping them on the app.
So if I give them more beans, they'll comment more about how they don't like beans. And get more engagement. Yeah.
That is now called the bean soup. And so it's like, oh, well, like you just referenced it as like bean soup.
Mm-hmm.
People were like, oh, well, I'm going to say no to that. But do you have this? It's like, well, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I offered you the one thing. Stop trying to nitpick.
Yeah.
And like tell me this whole, and it morphs into something entirely different.
Yeah.
That was never even offered.
Yeah.
You'll see that on TikTok constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's referred to as the bean soup.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then I guess with this, it's the bean soup in terms of like, here's the trip that I'm offering. Here's the deal that I got.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, actually, can we change where it is and what it is and who we're staying with? Okay, yeah.
And it should be a take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I'm just offering this to you because like it came up and I thought of you. But it's like, oh, well, like that doesn't really work for me. But like, what if we did this? What if we did that? It's like, okay, no, sometimes you can just say no.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you can just scroll away.
Yeah. At the very least, yeah, because there's like the just declining versus being rude. And that's the annoying thing. Is like the choosing to be rude when you could just decline. I should say it is also specifically because the bean soup one is more like, this is like a general thing online. Like, for people.
Yeah.
This was more like, here, I am offering you specifically something. But there's still the idea
of
like,
shit, though.
Yeah, like there's still like the idea of like, yeah, you could ask for certain things. But then there's the being rude about it is definitely a no-go. And then also fully accepting if the answer is no when they have to adapt to all of your needs. Like,
right. I think that's part of it too, is like forgetting that that's putting a burden on somebody. But also, like, it's a common thing too. Like, for example, people would be like, I'm allergic to beans. You know what I mean?
Oh,
or something.
Yeah.
Like,
in the context of like,
I don't care.
this is a video to everyone. So like, if you're not involved, then okay, that's fine. You know, yeah.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with the story. I mean, obviously it's a slightly different thing, but it's the same type of mindset of like, like, let's change this whole thing to fit me. It's like, well, that's not the deal right now. Anyway, I could go on about that stuff forever. It's very interesting how people's minds work. But, you know, and I feel like maybe it comes from just a need of wanting to be included, but it's like, I wish that would work out, but it's not going to this time. Maybe we can go on a trip together later.
Yeah.
All right. So I have another story for us. This is from AITAH, which is basically Am I the Asshole, but with less rules. All right. Friend was not allowed to board the flight. The rest of us still went on the vacation. Now she wants us to pay her back. Am I the asshole if I don't pay her? This was from like a little over a month ago, by the way.
Wait, friend doesn't want to board the flight or not allowed to?
She wasn't allowed to board the flight when the rest of us went on vacation, and she wants us to pay her back. So she didn't get to go because
Initially, I would see like, yeah, you should probably pay her back, but also I'm curious. I mean, it depends on what she did to not be allowed.
You already have an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I like to have opinions off titles sometimes. I like to judge people. I judge a book by its cover. Yeah.
Once you have prejudged, you cannot rejudge. I'm just changing that entire quote. All right. Throw away and changed some details. I don't think anyone involved is on Reddit, but I'm paranoid. Me and 3 friends planned a vacation to Hawaii. Oh, yeah, you can't really afford to miss that flight. We booked the flight, the hotel, and car together for a discount and then split the cost 4 ways, so we paid roughly $800. We also booked a couple things to do there, totaling around $250. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, like, so it's like around
prices? That's pretty good. The day of the flight, we all arrive at the airport and start going through TSA. One of my friends, I'll call her Sarah, got stopped because she had a weed pen in her bag.
Okay, never mind.
She says she just forgot it was there and didn't intentionally bring it. But it doesn't really matter either way. TSA ended up calling airport PD and Sarah was not allowed to board the flight. It's not legal in our state. She wasn't arrested, but she was given a ticket and court date and not allowed through security. So she shouldn't have even had that in that state.
Yeah.
Woo.
I mean, you got caught
in Hawaii?
Breaking the law, but
Is it legal in Hawaii?
I think so.
I have no idea.
I
know it's legal in California, and I think maybe like Arizona. A few other places it's legal, but I don't know.
I mean, whether it's legal where you're going or not, I guess the point is like where you are right now. If it's not legal, then yeah, you shouldn't. You got caught doing something stupid. Like, you can clean out your purse.
Obviously, the rest of us still got on the plane because we're looking forward to our vacation. Now we're back and Sarah is mad at all of us for going and wants us to pay her back for her portion of things since she couldn't go. But I don't think we should have to. It's not our fault she wasn't allowed to fly and I didn't budget for paying her half as well. She's also mad because the airport is an hour away from our home city and we didn't give her the keys to the car. So she had to pay for an Uber home.
Okay, that one was a little messed up.
We didn't say she couldn't have the keys. It's just that no one thought to give her the keys to Matt's car when it was all going down. That sucks.
Yeah.
One of the friends says we should just pay her to keep the peace, but I don't think we should have to. Matt also thinks we shouldn't have to pay her. If we split her costs, it would be about $350 each. I could technically afford it, but I'm working on paying off my credit card, and that's about the same I put toward my credit card each month. So it would put me a month behind on my plan to pay off my last credit card. I was a little irresponsible in my early 20s. Am I the asshole if I refuse to pay her back? Even if I'm not the asshole, should I just do it anyway to keep the peace? I think she's being completely unreasonable.
Not completely. I
think I would give her money for the Uber.
Yeah. I mean, no, because it's over $1,000, isn't it? Or no, it's $800 total.
It's $800.
Well, that's still.
And she fucked up her own situation.
I mean, she did, but like, it's a fuck up of like, it's still just stupidity, right? It wasn't a purposeful fuck up. It wasn't a lot.
bringing illegal substances
I guess, okay, that is the
not.
question.
It's
That's
not
the
like
question
she
of
got,
if it's purposeful or not.
I think it would be very different if she got profiled at TSA and got held up or something, and it was completely not her fault.
Well, I mean, even if
I would feel more bad for her.
It's not like I would then, like, you know, she's fucked. Like, it's like she made a mistake, yes, and she isn't able to go onto the trip, yes. Maybe not pay her full amount back, but I would say, like, try to chip in something, because this didn't just pay the flight tickets, it also paid for everything that was going on the trip too. So she still now subsidized a bunch of stuff for them. So I would say at least, like, it would make sense at, like, maybe everyone pay her back like $200 per or something like that, if, like, she paid a total of 800 something.
Yeah, pay her back the excursion costs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
I feel
and
like
then she
that's
just loses out on her ticket.
reasonable. I feel like the flight and the hotel, sorry, tough luck. Like,
Maybe, I don't know. Even the hotel.
If you're choosing to do that, you're putting yourself at risk.
That's the question: is if she was choosing to do it, or she just grabbed one of her purses and she properly packed her suitcase and she just grabbed her purse.
I don't care.
Okay, well,
I have zero tolerance when it comes to drugs. Say no to drugs, guys.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna get on my high horse.
Yep, this is the DARE program now.
I dare you to say no to drugs. Ooh.
Wow. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm a nicer person. I think it's also I'm the person who would try to keep the peace anyway. But, like, I feel like the medium is just not pay the full amount back, especially if you can't afford it, like, outright.
I feel like it is reasonable to give her excursion stuff back. I don't think the rest
you said
is
that.
Reasonable. And I'm gonna stick with that opinion if I can get my thing to not fall over.
It's my opinion. Anyway.
That's my We're so brain rot.
Also, that one's a really old reference too.
Where is that from? I mean, it's from like last year, but when did it first come?
You should look it up. I'm pretty sure it's
I'm
really
look it up
old.
right now. I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's still definitely that's fuck up on the person's part. I don't think they should get their full money back.
Here's my thing. If we're talking like law of the land, should you pay her? Do you have to pay her? No. You don't owe her shit.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a nice person and you feel like it would be kind and you feel like it wouldn't hurt you too bad, then
I think that's the main thing. Yeah. Because it's the question of, like, you know, can y'all afford to do this, right? If everyone could afford to, like, pitch in a little bit to pay her back for what she's lost, because she's already being punished by the fact that she's missing out on this trip. That's pretty significant, like, on its own.
Sorry.
And so, and she's, like, you know, I don't know if she's on some kind of list now or something like that too.
That would be.
She probably has something on her record.
That would suck.
Exactly. So she's already getting punished for this mistake, pretty hard.
But here's the thing: do you have to, or should you? No, you shouldn't have to, and you shouldn't feel like you have to.
Right, but if your friend makes a mistake.
But if you want to be kind, that would be nice.
Yeah, like, I mean,
does that make sense?
Yeah, if they're actually friends, which it seems they are, because they were going to go to a trip together, and if your friend makes a mistake like that, then you would, like, somewhat help your friend.
I see it similarly to, like, going out to lunch with a friend or something, and you're like, if you want to pay for their food or something, then yeah, sure, you can.
I mean, but that's, like, it's different when it's like, oh, by the way, it's like $800. That's just
I understand that, but this is still a situation of, like, you know? I don't know. We agreed.
We agree to disagree.
I'm sorry, I just had a little burpee. We agree to disagree on this one. Mm-hmm. And I'm not okay with that. Divorce! You guys watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? I never see this referenced anywhere, but it's one of the funniest things to me.
Yeah, we reference it in this house a lot. It's probably a bad thing to reference in a married
Well, to
life,
be
though,
fair,
whatever.
I actually didn't know that I was referencing it. I just started screaming divorce at him and like just randomly. And then one day I was watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and there's a section where there's an episode where when I say he, Dennis gets married to this girl who's obsessed with cats, and he realizes he hates her. And she's like ruining his life, and then he just randomly goes divorce. I do.
He goes on this whole spiel first, and then
no, like he says that out of nowhere. I'll put that in.
That doesn't even. I don't know what that. What?
Divorce!
What did you just say?
I will divorce you, Maureen. I'll do it.
Yeah.
But no, it's freaking funny. And so now I just think about that anytime I scream divorce at him.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, no, but didn't you like watch the episode at one point first, and then it had been a long time, and then you were saying divorce, and then you rewatched
Oh, I mean,
it?
I had seen the show three times, but I didn't know I was referencing him. I was just screaming divorce.
Yep. It was in your subconscious.
Yeah. Dennis Reynolds is in my subconscious.
Oh my gosh. That is so bad.
Next, I'm going to be doing the Dennis system.
Oh, God.
DENNIS. The Dennis system. That, my friends, is the key to winning any girl's heart.
Okay, this one is the one I've been excited about. It better not be deleted. I've been sitting on these for like a month, waiting for when to do this specific episode.
We're struggling.
It's not clicking. That's not my fault. All right. It's still here. It's still here. This is from Today I Fucked Up. We talked about that subreddit last week too. All right. I liked this one. I don't know. I don't remember anything about it, to be honest, though. Today I fucked up by visiting a Japanese bathhouse. Do you guys know what those are?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what that is? Maybe
I know it from anime. Anyway.
Okay, so this happened a fair few years ago, but still haunts me. Back in 2017, I was in my final year of university and got the opportunity to spend 5 weeks in Tokyo for an exchange/observership. One of the items on my bucket list was to visit a sento, which is a traditional indoor Japanese bathhouse. Okay, so he's not explaining what it is. So basically, the bathhouse is you literally go there like kind of like you would go to a gym. And they're separated by men and women, and you're supposed to like wash yourself before you get in, and then you can like sit in like the onsen kind of thing.
It's kind of like a big not a hot tub, but like a hot springs kind of.
Yeah, it's like a hot springs kind of thing. And then you're supposed to wash yourself, but the way they wash themselves in Japan oftentimes is they literally like sit on like a little stool and wash themselves first, and like sit there, and everybody's just naked because they're like really chill about that in Japan for some reason. Anyway, so and they're very particular about how it is. Like, you're not allowed to have tattoos in onsens and stuff like that. Like, you have to like cover it with something. Yeah, like they're very particular about a lot of that stuff, and obviously they're segregated by men and women. There's other rules too. I just can't think of them right now. Yeah. Anyway, but you're supposed to bring all your own stuff. All right. So, I wanted to go somewhere a bit less touristy, and luckily there was a place only a few blocks from where I was staying, like 45 minutes out of the central city. Not wanting to make an idiot of myself, I did some research beforehand regarding what to expect and how to act. One thing mentioned was that you have to wash yourself before you hop in the pool. I didn't have a travel bottle of soap/body wash, but read that you can buy it at most places, and if not, then it will often be supplied. When I got there, I quickly realized no one spoke English, and although I managed to pay for my entry, I couldn't communicate soap, nor could I see any for purchase behind the counter. I assumed there would be some in the actual bathing area, so stripped down naked in the changing room, put my clothes in a locker, and proceeded into the actual bathing room. On the left-hand side of the room, there were like 15 or so washing stations. To the right was the big pool. There were a few old men sitting, well, more like squatting, on tiny footstool things washing themselves. I was the only non-Japanese person there, and alas, there was no soap in sight. Then I spied just to the left of the entrance on a table a small woven basket with like 7 bars of soap in it. This is where I made my big fuck up. I assumed this was the communal soap basket. I grabbed a bar of soap and walked over to one of the washing stations to get to business. One of the old Japanese guys saw me doing this and started glaring at me and muttering something under his breath. This would have been the time to return the soap to the basket and call it a day, but I'm a fucking idiot, so that didn't happen. Shortly after, another old Japanese man gets out of the bath, walks over to the table, picks up the basket of soap, exchanges words with the guy who glared at me, and proceeds to also start glaring at me and saying something in what seemed to be a pretty angry tone. This is when I realized with horror that the basket was in fact his, and I had just stolen one of his bars of soap. By this point, I had already lathered myself up. However, handing the soap back to him clearly wasn't an option. I awkwardly tried to apologize but could see it wasn't well received. I didn't see any other option except to finish washing myself, but the next issue was that I had nowhere to put the soap. I didn't have a toiletry bag with me, and there were no rubbish bins anywhere. So I just sat there, red-faced, completely naked, dying a million deaths inside, continually rubbing soap on myself and breaking it up / disintegrating it into small enough chunks that it would go down the drain. I'm sure the Japanese men continued glaring at me and cursing at me, but I didn't make any further eye contact with them, so can't be completely sure. After this ordeal was over, I rinsed myself off, got up, and entered the bath. The water was incredibly hot, however, and this, alongside the shame and embarrassment washing over me, made for a thoroughly unenjoyable experience. Only stayed in there for like 5 minutes before slinking out back to the safety of my touristy accommodation.
So sad.
Oh,
This is why I don't I'm scared to travel with at least without someone who knows a language or something like that. I feel like I would just do so many embarrassing things or just screw myself over so much. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so embarrassing. That poor guy.
Yeah, for real. So he just makes the bar. He keeps washing himself to the bar of soap is smaller. Just
that's what it says. Okay, the top
that's
comment.
The funniest part.
The top comment says the funniest bit is that you stayed in the shower desperately trying to use up the entire bar of soap. Not only did you steal this guy's bar of soap, you literally vaporized it while showering.
So dumb.
This is exactly what you said, almost word for word.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's definitely the worst part. 100%. I guess it's so hard to how do you apologize when you're naked still using this guy's soap? So yeah, I get it, I guess. Yeah, that's so sad.
Some of these comments are killing me. Someone said should have leaned into it and just stared him down while furiously scrubbing away.
Oh my gosh, that's how you start a fight.
You know these men are still talking about him.
Yeah.
You're now an urban legend in Japan called the Soap Bandit. Okay, this one's the one that killed me. Imagine if some dude came into the gym locker room and stole your soap while you're passively aggressively waiting for him to finish. He just keeps fucking using it until it's all gone, then just leaves without saying shit.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. That is quite literally.
That's literally what he did.
Yeah. I mean, it's to fair of that once you open that bar of soap, it's not like you can give it back.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine him going and putting it back on the other 6 bars of soap.
Oh my gosh.
Ew.
Also, I imagine I don't think this is the case. I'm not sure. It's those giant Dove bar of soaps as opposed to the small travel
That's what
ones.
I imagine.
Yeah,
He's a giant Dove bar of soap.
Yeah.
That's what I have in my
You
brain.
just have to break that shit up to shove it down the drain.
They turn to mush.
Uh-huh.
Imagine him just mushing it up
yeah.
mashed potatoes. Oh,
my
it was
gosh.
probably a small size, but still.
Mm-hmm.
If I was him, I would have waited till they weren't looking and put it in my.
Okay. That is an insane level of embarrassment. I'm so embarrassed that I put a bar of soap up my ass. Okay. I'm so glad that you are not in this situation then. Damn. You handled it way better than you would have, apparently.
No, it's just to hide it. So it's, well, no, that doesn't make it better.
Does not
You're
work.
right, that doesn't
You're
make it
walking
better.
around naked and you have to clench your butt the whole time. Make sure a bar of something doesn't pop out at any given time.
You're right. That doesn't help.
Like you're just sitting in the bath and then just this bar just pops up.
You're right. You're right. That was not a good take.
No, not at all. Remember, kids, the solution is not to stick something up your butt.
Okay. Okay.
God. Okay.
Yeah, never stick things up your boobie. Your boobie?
Your booby.
Your booty. All right, the next comment says, it's under the one we just read. Dude, I think breaking it down until it was all gone was probably just taken as some alpha power trip dick move too. Wasting things is really frowned upon. You don't leave a bunch of food on your plate, for example. Especially if it was made for you by someone and not a business. It's seen as throwing their money in the garbage, not valuing it in the money and effort it costs to make it. So with that, and then seeing this dick just walk in, take your shit, use it, then stomp it down the drain, like what the fuck, dude? Stealing it wasn't enough. You're gonna waste it right in front of my face?
The other thing too is if there was a garbage bin and then he would have like used half of it, then just thrown the other half away. So at the very least, it's probably a better option to like try and use it as much as he could.
It seems like a good option.
It's
But
all bad options.
it's all bad.
Yeah, it's all bad.
Next comment is, this guy is 100% going to tell this story for years to come. The time some foreigner came and stole his soap, used it, and then arrogantly destroyed the rest before disrespectfully leaving without saying a word. His entire bloodline is going to have a seething hatred against Aussies.
True.
Oh, that's so funny. That was really, really funny.
That was
we
adorable.
have
Oh my
one.
gosh. It's been 40 minutes.
Oh, I know. And this next one is really long, guys. All right, hold on. Let me do a better transition to that.
Okay.
All right. So that story was bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
This next story, a lot of you may have heard before. I'm not really sure how big it got on the internet, but it is a trip.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard it.
A trip on the travel episode. Anyway.
But
yes.
Okay. I've heard this before in other Reddit story videos, and it's just been rolling around in my brain. I can't stop thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to read it here. I can't remember if I looked it up or if I found it on my own, though, but it doesn't really matter. So this is in Best of Redditor Updates. It was originally posted in... I actually don't know. Wedding shaming. I didn't know that was a trend. I'm going to have to get on that. All right. This is a wedding theme. Forced to wear revealing bridesmaid dress is the title. I miss the days when bridesmaids were treated like people and not stage props. My future sister-in-law is getting married, so of course I'm a default bridesmaid. She didn't give us options for the dress. She picked it out and told us it's the one we'll be wearing. The dress is a strapless, backless, thigh slit halter neck. I'm a larger girl. Triple D chest should explain why I don't wear backless or halter styles. Backless means I can't wear any form of supportive bra, and there is virtually no shapewear I can put underneath it. The only bras that work are stickies or tape, which do not hold me up in the least. Preach, girl, honestly. I tried the dress on. My chest is spilling out the sides. Back rolls are on full blast, and I am popping out of this thing every which way. I'm so uncomfortable. Basically, the bride's sorry. I know it's your big day, but there's no way I'm wearing this dress. My body shape is different from the rest of the bridal party, and I can't justify wearing it. I told her I'd be fine if I can simply modify it to be more conservative at the back and chest. She declined and told me to just be more confident in myself because all the dresses must be identical for photos. I have no body confidence issues. There are plenty of styles that suit my figure. It just so happens that this dress was not made for larger women and does not look appropriate on my body. I want to drop out of the wedding, but my family insists I stay in because my sister-in-law and I would ruin the wedding and the relationship. It's my sister-in-law and it would ruin the wedding and the relationship. I don't get why I should have to be paraded around in front of my entire family family, extended family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, etc. in an outfit that makes me uncomfortable. It's just getting ridiculous. Brides, please have enough tact to make sure your girls are comfortable on your special day. We're humans, not props. Update. First of all, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate your helpful advice and suggestions. On that note, I've decided to stay in the wedding to avoid sending my mother to an early grave. However, I've decided I'll be wearing the shit out of this dress and making sure the center of the attention is not on the lovely bride. I tried to resolve the issue with tact and class and was shot down, so I feel I've earned the right to be petty. I'm going to order some really specific shapewear, which can be concealed under what little material this dress has. Kudos to you all who sent me suggestions. I'm going to be full side boob, full shimmer added on the exposed back, and full body oil on the legs for the thigh slit. I'll be doing an updo on the hair so there's nothing getting in the way of this dress. I'll be wearing a shawl for everything else, but trust for the ceremony I'll be looking like Salma Hayek in Dusk Till Dawn.
That's mean, but sure, okay.
Let's see what she thinks about this body confidence she asked me to find. Girl, please. If anyone is curious, I'll most likely come back in May to post my pics.
That's sad, but I don't know.
Don't have too many comments. This is a very long video.
That's fair enough.
Normally, I would ask in between, but we literally will be here all day.
Okay.
If you have comments this early on the story, because it hasn't even kicked into high gear yet.
Okay. I feel like it's still a little early to be aggressive, but sure. Also, I'm very curious where the travel part's going to come in, because supposedly this is the travel episode.
There was literally me for a second being like, crap, is this the wrong story? Because that front part that she originally posted is so different from what comes next.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm like,
it's crazy.
shoot,
All right,
do I get the wrong one? No, it's not the wrong one.
Okay.
All right. Someone said, drop out of the wedding. A bride who is that insisting on her vision over the comfort of people who are supposed to be her nearest and dearest isn't going to stop with dresses. Next will be insisting on a bachelorette party nobody can afford, demanding that you use her makeup artist at your own expense, etc., etc., etc. I find your fiance will support you if you decide to bail out, even if the rest of the family is pressuring you. All right. Another update. By the way, this story has the most updates out of anything I've ever heard of.
Oh, okay.
Side note. All right. Update 2. This was 2 days later. Bride made a profit on bachelorette trip. Sister-in-law drama. Interesting. So much tea. I'm glad I can spill to my Reddit community because I can't gossip about it to my family. So, about 6 months ago, the bride planned her destination bachelorette trip and charged each of the 11 girls $650 for the Airbnb. That's a lot.
And also,
Each of the 11 girls $650 for the Airbnb.
yeah, that is a lot.
That's crazy. I was salty about the high cost, but it's my sister-in-law, so I sucked it up and paid her. I was also suspicious about the high as fuck price, but I did cross-check the Airbnb listing and it checked out. Yes, this bee wanted a $2,300 a night beachfront house. $2,300 a night. That's crazy.
Yeah. For how long was it?
I'm guessing the weekend, so 2-3 days. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm chatting about my wedding stuff with my brother, who is marrying future sister-in-law, and he said something along the lines of, what a relief her dad paid for the Airbnb, because that would have been so expensive for your group. I about choked. I said, hey, are you sure about that? Because all 11 girls paid $650 for the house alone. Maybe run it by her. His face turned purple, so I take it he had no idea.
Yeah, that she just scammed the fuck out of everyone. Okay.
To add to the greed going on here, when I got married, I flew her out, paid for her accommodations, paid hair and makeup, paid for her bridesmaid's dress, and paid transportation because she was going through a hard time. Now she has the balls to steal from me. These people are rich. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that weddings are expensive, but don't have one if it requires stealing from your bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm assuming I'm the only bridesmaid who is aware of what's going on here. Not sure if I should spill to the group or just let it go.
Yes, spill the group.
There's a
yeah.
There's a chance her dad stepped in and paid for it after the fact, and she just chose not to refund us. I'm not clear on the exact situation and want to avoid embarrassing my brother. Update number 1. Sub update.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right.
The update to the update. Yeah.
For real. Update number 1. Thanks for all the advice and support. Yes, I agree with most of you who are saying I'm morally obligated to spill the beans because $650 is not child's play. This is what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to talk to my brother and give him a chance to clear it up with sister-in-law. Before I make a scene, I want to understand what's really going on. For example, did daddy pay for the trip but sister-in-law decided to put that towards a different wedding expense? Things like that. That answer will determine how/when I tell the rest of the bridesmaids. I'm going to give my brother only 1 to 2 days because this trip is literally next week. Yeah. Stay tuned for update number 2. All right, so I regrouped with my brother. My mom also stepped in, bypassed my brother, and got some more info directly from her dad. Here's the tea. Future sister-in-law's dad did not offer to cover the cost until a few months after we all paid for the trip. Okay. This was after he found out the cost and was pissed that she chose a $2,300 a night house and asked us to pay. Apparently, he threatened not to pay for the wedding if she added more expenses onto the wedding party. Turns out she originally wanted it at the Maldives and he forbid her. That sounds expensive, but I don't really know what that is. Mm-hmm. According to my mom, who chatted with him directly, he felt embarrassed, and when he heard about the Airbnb price and wanted to save face with my side of the family, so he gave sister-in-law about $7,000 to cover the cost of the house. She was supposed to refund us, but obviously that never happened. This is where it gets good. So my mom went total FBI and learned that in addition to not paying us, sister-in-law didn't put the money towards a different wedding expense either. She doesn't have it. So where did it go? What did she spend it on? There is currently a full-blown investigation going down between our two families right now. I have been asked by my mom not to alert the bridesmaids just yet until we get the last bits of info and come to a resolution with both sister-in-law and her dad, but we will tell them ASAP one way or another. I will come back tomorrow with another update. Wow, crazy.
This person's a psycho. Wow.
Update number 3.
Mm-hmm.
The plot thickens.
Mm-hmm.
So as this drama is all unfolding, the maid of honor, who doesn't know what's going on yet, is continuing her duties. We all get a 4-paragraph text from her outlining the dress code for each night of the bachelorette, per the bride's orders. Keep in mind, the bride is asking us to go all out and buy new outfits for each night of the trip. And the themes are wild. Animal print Thursday, faux fur Friday, sparkle dress Saturday, and Barbie brunch Sunday. So not just dressing
on top
nice.
Of the 650, suppose. Yeah.
Not just dressing nice, yeah.
But like unique stuff, so that there's no way you could have all of these things.
Yeah, you might have 1 or 2 of them, but you're definitely gonna have to buy new stuff. And you know she wants you to dress like club, or really fancy.
Yeah.
All right, as if we're gonna go all out and buy that shit 1 week before the trip, or at all. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, the bridesmaids seem to be waking up to the bullshit. Several of them wrote back saying they won't be able to pull together those outfits in time, and one flat out said it's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But that's just a side story to the absolute shit show that is unfolding. Mm-hmm. My mom is very involved now, as she's paid a decent chunk of this wedding as well, and does not like that the bride is throwing around thousands of dollars from her dad, as well as lying to the bridal party. She set up a meeting directly with the sister-in-law to cut the BS and explain what's going on. She told sister-in-law she's going to inform the BMs herself unless she gets a valid answer. At this point, I'm just shoveling popcorn, waiting for the events to unfold. I will be back tonight with hopefully the final update.
Wait, pause. Is it the final update?
I'm not going to tell you.
It's not. I can already tell it's not. Okay.
I'm not going to tell you. Update number 4. A swan ice sculpture. She used the $7,000 to book a swan-shaped ice sculpture to be displayed at the reception and didn't tell anyone. Turns out her dad banned her from adding any more extras to the wedding design because it was already so expensive and unnecessary. When he Venmo'd her for the Airbnb, she thought she was being sneaky and kept it instead. She didn't even tell my brother this. He only found out that her dad decided to cover the Airbnb because those two went out for cigars one night and it came up. So that mystery is solved thanks to my mini FBI crew. But now the real questions remain. Where the fuck is my $650 and how to break the news to the bridesmaids?
Yeah. I mean, well, the answer of the 650 at this point is it paid for the Airbnb. And then the dad's money was paid for this swan thing, right? Supposedly. I don't know. We'll see. This is crazy. Holy crap. All right.
Out of the kindness of her soul, my mom is giving sister-in-law 24 hours to confess to the bridesmaids and figure out how to pay us back our money. Because you know what? I did not spend $650 on some damn ice. I have kids to feed. I have bills to pay. It is taking everything in me not to text the bridesmaid group right now, but my mom is trying to give sister-in-law one opportunity to do the right thing. This has been a roller coaster. I don't know if anyone here is still interested, but let me know if I should post the final outcome of the bridesmaids in one last update. Lord have mercy.
I don't know if anyone's interested. Shut up and tell us.
Update number 5. Okay, as promised, here's the latest tea. Served boiling hot. This is a long update. I'm going to try and get everything in. First, let's start with the bride's explanation to her family, myself, my mom, my brother, her fiance, and her dad. She broke down crying that the wedding planning has been getting to her head, and she has been crushed under the pressure to have the perfect wedding, which she felt couldn't go on without this alleged ice swan. I didn't buy her sob story. After this whole incident, I think she is a delusional, controlling, attention-starving bridezilla who is using the wedding as a way to compete with other girls on Instagram. By the way, her job is influencer, if I didn't mention that yet.
Explains so much. Okay, yeah. Oh my gosh, that explains so much.
My brother took the bait. To be honest, I don't even blame him. This is his future wife, and he said he wants to help her with her mental health and get her back to a good place. He is disturbed by the situation, but will continue to support her. The wedding is on, for those who were curious.
Yeah, that's... Oh my gosh. I mean, it makes sense. Fully makes sense. But that he would still take the bait because, then otherwise he'd have to live with the reality that he's, was about to marry a psycho, so he's going to continue lying to himself. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, and there's more. Oh, there's more. Okay. Oh my gosh, that is crazy amount more.
Now let's get into the matter of the $7,000 missing dollars, whether we're getting our money back. The sad, gut-wrenching answer, probably not. Her dad said he has already paid the Airbnb cost once and he'll not do it again. He said his daughter is 31 and needs to get herself out of her own mess and figure out how to make it right. She chimed in that the $7,000 is gone and asked how she would possibly pay us back. My brother refused to pay for her screw-up. While I love that everyone is finally forcing this bee to be an adult, I would like my money back more. Unfortunately, we're not going to get it unless she magically wins the lottery or gets a real job. For those that asked, there is nothing we can do legally. We all willingly paid a fixed amount and we would have to move mountains and spend more money to sue. Plus, while she was incredibly shady and a terrible friend, she technically didn't do anything wrong that we could prove. That's true. That all that tech was technically given freely.
Yeah. Also,
now,
she's apparently not a very good influencer if, she's not able to make any kind of money off of it. So,
ooh, burn.
Real. You're going to claim that as your main job? Yeah.
Now on to the bridesmaids. After some threats from my mom, sister-in-law finally broke down and contacted the bridesmaids in our group chat. She sent a text that made my skin crawl. Hey ladies, you're my bride squad, so I feel compelled to share that my dad recently offered to pay for our bachelorette accommodations. However, being that the wedding is so expensive, I have decided to put his donation toward a wedding expense. I hope you all understand, and I can't wait to party with you all next week.
Hey, ladies was already the worst part. Damn.
It's so formal.
Yeah, and it skirts it entirely. She's such a manipulator. Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I immediately replied back, making sure everyone knew the expense was an ice sculpture, an ice swan. Come on, people. Many of them replied and expressed how they would have loved to use that $650 for something more important. But ultimately, no one has backed out. One of the girls started a side chat without the bride and asked if there's any chance of getting our money back if we force sister-in-law to cancel the reservation. Unfortunately, since we're only a week out, we aren't eligible for our refund.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to go through with the bachelorette, or else this would be a literal waste of $650.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. You are technically going on a trip to
Just
a really fancy beach house.
Yeah, there's absolutely no getting your money back, so might as well just do it.
As for myself, I'm in the same boat. I would rather run myself over than go on this trip. But $650 is not a small amount, and I can't fathom just throwing it down the drain. I haven't made my final decision yet. If I do go, I'll solely be avoiding... I will slowly... What? If I do go, it will solely be to avoid eating the $650 plus my airfare. I will not be doing any of the planned events or outfits or contributing $1 even more. I would not... even $1 more, sorry. I would have my own mini vacation as best I can. I'm really upset that it seems like this crazy person is going to get her way after all. I had slowed down my speaking to a normal level, but I think I'm going to have to speed up again because this is a long story.
That's crazy that it's still so much longer. This is already so much insanity.
We're not even halfway down the page. All right. Mini update 5.A. There are so many curious comments coming in, so I want to keep you in the loop. More drama has unfolded among the bridesmaids. The side text without the bride popped off, and we have all agreed to do the following. We will be going on the bridesmaid trip, but it is no longer a bachelorette trip. We will all be taking personal vacations with our husbands/significant others while staying at the property. We were forced into this beachfront mansion plus airfare, so we're going to make the most of it. We all backed out of hosting and paying for the bridal shower. The bride will need to find another way to move forward if she wants to have it. We will attend as guests if she has it, and we will not be gifting anything. Mother of the bride is absolutely furious. More on this later. They basically formed a union.
Yeah, but mother of the bride is furious about this.
Yeah, apparently. More on this later. That's what she says.
Uh-huh.
We're letting the bride know she needs to cancel the Ice Swan trademark. Ice Swan tea.
Yeah.
That's what she wrote. Okay, sorry. And give us our money back. After some more research, we doubt all of the $7,000 went toward the alleged swan because it doesn't seem like they cost that much.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be back for a while because I want to save my next update for after the trip. Stay tuned. So there were comments and replies for clarification. Someone said, I need to know if you're also paying for your own dress, shoes, hair, makeup on top of this. Yes, everything. A $350 dress, $150 hair, $150 makeup, $200 shoes. Oh, and the bridal shower cost is being split among the 11 girls, plus the shower gift, plus the wedding gift from me and hubby. I truly hope bridesmaids go out of style in the very near future. I go broke every time, and on top of that, you end up slaving away for some bridezilla. Not all brides are like this. I've been to a few weddings that were really great. This is not one of those times.
Holy crap, that is so insane.
I don't know how well off you are, but to me, $650 would never, ever be just let it go money. Yes, that's exactly. I got married out of the country, which, to be honest, was a way to cut my guest list down to only 15 people. Valid. Mm-hmm. With that said, we paid for flights, accommodations, bridesmaids' dresses, and hair, makeup artist, no bridal shower, no bachelorette. All the guests had to do was show up and have a good time, and yes, my future sister-in-law was part of that group. The petty part of me wants to send her the bill of her costs from my wedding if I could go back in time. Whatever happened to just going out of dinner and making a few drinks with your girlfriends? Shadiness aside, this just seems like a lot of work and I'm experiencing secondhand exhaustion. And then the original poster, she said, weddings and all the events that go with them have gotten completely out of control lately. While this one is pretty extreme, I'm in 3 other weddings this year, which are equally involved and expensive. And why is it only the bridesmaids who are victim to the extreme cost and all the labor hard work that goes into it? Looking at my brother and the groomsmen, the bachelor party was a short drive up to the mountains where they stayed for free at a friend's place, hung out, had some beers, and wished my brother well. Meanwhile, the bridesmaids are spending our life savings, using up PTO, and putting in Olympic sport effort just to get through the bachelorette alone. Not to mention the bridal shower and all the other things still to come. Sorry to create another rant, but I'm so over weddings and bridezillas.
Yeah, that sucks.
All right, this one says final update 10 days after original post. The absolute tea I have today. It took me so long to write this because I'm at a complete and utter loss for words. Where to begin? Let me start with this. There is no ice swan. There never was an ice swan. It was all an elaborate fabrication designed to distract everyone from where the missing 7K actually went. R.I.P. Ice Swan. Turns out there was a reason behind sister-in-law's luxury bachelorette location. Here's what happened. All the bridesmaids show up to the beachfront mansion with our significant others. Sister-in-law had already been made aware that it was no longer a bachelorette, but to our complete shock, she was still stunned that we actually meant it. She arrived last in her pre-booked limo, absolutely fuming that no one had showed up to the limo meeting spot at the airport. She was the only one still sticking to the original itinerary. Then she was flabbergasted that the husband's SOs were with us. It was a comedy show at best. Anyway, we went about our individual mini vacations, and eventually someone realized it had been about 48 hours since anyone had seen sister-in-law. I assumed she was mad and either flew home or went to stay somewhere else. Then the unthinkable unfolds. Sister-in-law rolls up in the driveway in a wheelchair, being pushed by 2 female nurses. I don't think that part's important, but the entire group jumped into action thinking something horrible happened. Everyone ran over to see what was going on, but the nurses ushered us away and wheeled sister-in-law into her room. At this point, I'm actually very concerned. We're all banging on her door asking if she's okay. The nurses eventually leave and say they legally can't reveal the nature of her health issue, but assure us she's fine. I call my brother and mom, but get no answers, so I finally decide to call her mom.
Poor choice, probably.
Mother of the bride reveals what actually took place. She isn't sick. She didn't have a health issue. There was no accident. She got her boobs done.
Oh my, what the?
Yes, folks, you read that correctly. She had planned, as part of the original itinerary, to disappear for an afternoon and return with a new set of melons. I'm sorry, what? The location of the beachfront mansion is conveniently 5 minutes away from a very famous cosmetic surgeon's office. The reason she needed this giant-ass property was not really to host 11 girls. It was to host 11 girls plus the surgery, recovery nurses, and personal chef she had reserved for the operation. There is so much more that we need to unpack. I honestly don't know where to begin. Where was her mother's knowledge involvement in all this? What was the cost of the procedure? Guessing around $7,000.
Mm-hmm.
And why wasn't it meant to be part of the bachelorette? What is the purpose of the ice swan lie? Will the bridesmaids, myself included, pursue legal action? Where does this leave my brother? Is this lady okay mentally?
No.
Was this a horribly misplaced cry for attention? Was it an FU to the bridesmaids somehow? So many questions remain. I'm only a few hours back from this trip, so this is all the information I have right now. I was intending for this to be my final update, and I just want to say thank you for all your support, advice, bags of popcorn, and funny input. This has been a wild ride, and I'm glad I could share it with you. So far, we have had this crazy ordeal picked up by a news publication, multiple podcasts, and a magazine. I literally want to write a book about this experience. I've already revealed a great deal of info, and so to protect my brother's privacy moving forward, I think I need to step away from the updates.
Did she step away from the updates?
There's some comments.
Okay. But yeah. Oh my gosh. That is fucked. They should not still be together. I don't know. Like, that's like super blind goggles for that if the brother still chooses to be with her. This is so obvious. She's like a manipulative and terrible person. That is crazy. Oh my gosh. That is super crazy. There's no way. Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
I can't. Like,
We can't leave it
there's,
like
like,
that. That's
so-
a cliffhanger.
yeah, for real. It's still a cliffhanger.
So this is on Best of Redditor updates, but there was a comment that said, "I think I need to step away from the updates." I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to accommodate this.
yeah. Pretty much.
Okay. One of these comments said, "So in short, she lied to her husband, her family, his family, and her friends. Stole from the latter to get new boobs. How would she even go about explaining this to her fiance when she got home if she had gotten away with the lying and stealing? Honey, I'm back. We had so much fun that I got a spontaneous boob job."
Yeah, this doesn't work.
Except fiance knows she stole that money, and if he has a half a brain, he'll figure it out that she could have gotten most of it back and paid her friends. She just did not want to. She pissed away everyone around her's trust and respect for boobs.
Respect for boobs.
Maybe even her marriage/relationship. There's a couple more like questions that people had. So someone said, "Oh my God, are you sure your brother wasn't in on the theft? Because breast augmentation isn't exactly something you do without consultations and having someone to help you for the ensuing few weeks following the procedure. Did her mother know and she was in on it? I'm assuming father of the bride and mother of the bride are divorced. If your brother is truly in the dark, his fiance is throwing red flags around like Oprah threw car keys. And he still has time to back out of this." She replied, "So far I know that my brother was aware of the procedure but never imagined our money went towards it. We're still figuring out exactly where the money went. Apparently there was going to be some grand boob reveal during the batch and we would all celebrate her. I'm still piecing together the details crumb by crumb." Someone said, "When is the wedding? I understand it takes 4 to 6 weeks for the swelling to subside. But I'm also wondering if the sister-in-law had her dress made to fit her new anticipated bust size or just decided to let her cups runneth over."
Yeah.
I looked it up and boob jobs in LA cost anywhere between $7,000 to $15,000. I'm guessing with a famous plastic surgeon, the cost would be toward the upper end of the range. 2 private nurses in LA are going to run at least $200 a day. And if that's it, and that's if they don't spend the night. The private chef would cost another couple hundred if he only does one meal. I wonder who the bride conned to get the rest of the money. Someone else said, "I feel like you think you're protecting your brother, but he is enabling her now. And please tell me everyone dropped off from the bridal party now. I feel like you've got enough messages and proof now for the bridal party to sue her." She said, "I don't know the costs yet or the timeline that she organized all these things. We're still gathering information. I can't speak for the other bridesmaids, but my husband works remote and was more than happy to tag along. Plus he got to leave the kids at grandma's, which is another incentive, lol. As for the new melons, this is total speculation, but I'm betting she has an OnlyFans. I know her influencer career, if you can call it that, is not working out, and I've seen several influencers switch over to OnlyFans. Not trying to cast even more judgment on her, but I just wouldn't be surprised at this point." Another commenter says, "So she gets wheeled past you and you and the bridesmaids find out that she got a boob job with your money and you all just left without any follow-up discussion? What did the other bridesmaids say? How was there no confrontation with the bride at this point?" Of course there was a confrontation, questions, discussion. It simply has not yielded all the answers yet. We also didn't chain down the bride and waterboard her for answers. We took it all in and tried to end our trip on a somewhat normal note.
Yeah. Dang, that is GG. And oh my gosh, dang, looking at you scroll on that is crazy. That is so much. And that's so terrible.
I had to go to
Yeah.
get to the top of that. It's crazy. I think we took 45 minutes just to read that story.
Yeah, like that's a terrible person. So like all around terrible person. Like very manipulative and everything. Which I guess explains like oh my gosh, influencer explains so much. Like insanely.
It's labeled, even if it's fake, I'm still fully invested. That's like its official labeling.
That's funny. I mean, it was a crazy story.
That was a wild ride.
To be fair, if the influencer ends up like actually being identified through the story, she'll probably get more attention
Yeah, let's not identify her.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's gonna be like it's gonna turn.
Just like love to be
Dude,
crazy assholes.
I mean, that would be good reality TV content.
Exactly. Yeah, this girl like is a terrible person. It'd be great for TV. If being a terrible person is just the way to go. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you guys for watching this. If I ever find an update again about this, I don't know if there will be one ever. This is from like 2 years ago or something like that. At least a year ago. So I don't know if there will be any more updates. So I'm kind of sad that she dropped it off and left it at that. But if I do find an update, we'll talk about it in a different video. Thanks for watching this far. I hope you had fun. And if you made it this far, comment Ice Swan in the comments, please.
TM.
Ice Swan trademark, because that's what she wrote. She even did like the mini TM. Yeah. That's hilarious. Anyway, do you have any final words before we go?
That was traumatizing, and I am I'm judging people more now. I have less faith in humanity.
I could just hear your jaw drop.
Yeah.
Or like
so many times.
Or just like see your face. Sometimes I'll go like
multiple times. Like that's crazy that it was multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's probably the craziest story. That's probably crazier than the slug story. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, for sure.
Isn't that wild? It's such a wild ride. Yeah, because
like this is like multiple big drops. That's crazy.
And she said final update like at least twice.
Yeah, for real. She's like, it can't even up for her. It can't possibly be more.
That was so funny. But you can see why that when I heard that story, it was rolling around in my head for a long time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, guys, like I said, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.